that spirit, Christina, I want to pick up on something Adrienne talked about explicitly, and that I think came up a little bit with Woody and Vicky as well, which is the idea of capacity, right? That this is, this doesn't do, the work doesn't do itself. And that as we're thinking about building out an agency, one of the things we're having to think about is what are the capacities we need that agency to have? And I know I am not speaking solely for myself when I say that I am really hoping that this new agency will have some outstanding capacity to do the kind of data work we've heard about today, right? As I know that Washington, Georgia, and Massachusetts have worked to build. So as we think about building that capacity, it would be great to hear from folks who have it about what that looks like, who's on the team, what are the skill sets you need, right? So that we can start planning for an agency that from day one is able to do this kind of work effectively.
I'll just say we were fortunate to have a centralized division of data and research, the Office of Innovation, Alignment, Accountability. BI analysts are necessary for the technical pieces, as well as researchers and evaluators who can help us make meaning out of the data. And that is in addition to the IT division that manages much of the data that are used to inform this. So lots of capacity needed.
I second that, Vicky, and I've been just recently hired a few folks for the team, so I've been thinking a lot about the sort of capabilities question in building out a team. And an organization that I used to work for draws this distinction between data analysts and data strategists, and I think that's sort of this key piece here is like, it's more than just building out the capacity to sort of do the computations and do the analysis. It's sort of this being able to understand the landscape to ask the right questions and know what's going to sort of, you can do all of the analysis, forever and not answer the right question if you don't sort of understand, if you're not thinking strategically. And so I think that's sort of this piece and something that I think in hiring and interview processes to sort of listen and get a feel for it. It's not, I find that we have no challenge in finding lots of great, talented analytic folks. It's that sort of strategic piece. Can I understand the landscape, understand what the key question is of interest, and how I take the available data that we have, which is often not perfect and not the data that we wish we had, in order to answer the question that will really resonate with policymakers or the program team or the public.
Robin, you got your hand up, but I wanted to make sure that if you had anything to jump in, because I know Decal has a tremendous team that works on this kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think capacity is something I wish I'd understood better before. I mean, just have the degree of capacity you need. I mean, we're fortunate to have a research team internally, but even that research team has evolved significantly over the years, where it was all basically about just research, and now we have kind of two groups within our research team. We have one that's focused on research partnerships and helping us leverage third parties to help us develop research, but then internal data and research as well. And so I think it's developing the right structure to provide the capacity you need to really manage your data well and use it and leverage it the best way. To Adrienne's point, I mean, your data analyst, like, they need to understand obviously all the technical tools, but they also need to be fluid in the program themselves, like understand the programs, how the programs work, what the outcomes of the program should be, and merge those two skill sets together to create really good analytics and that proper feedback loop, so they can build relationships internally. So I think, and on the flip side, obviously IT is a real big part of it. I mean, IT, you need to have an IT partner within an agency. I mean, that's maybe not always the case with some agencies or some groups. I mean, but I think that has been kind of it's been challenging at times for us, but also it's becoming better as we, develop the better skill sets in our IT program. But it's a multifaceted issue you got to kind of govern, and you also realize it's not all going to be within your purview. Typically, you're going to need partners who understand your needs and are willing to support you.
Elliot, if I could, I would just add to what I heard Adrienne and Woody say. Adrienne, I love what you said about strategic use of data and interviewing people with that ear of strategic use of data. one of my early experiences after I hired some researchers at the former Department of Early Learning was I realized in interviews and in early work with assigning projects that when most of my check-ins were filled with complaints about how bad the data was, I knew that was a problem. So I developed sort of a way of pivoting from bad data. Okay, I understand the limitations of the data. Now show me what you can do with the data you have. I want people who are comfortable digging into messy data, and because that's all we've got is messy data. So.